Hey everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I have the Mooncat Planet Nyarr collection. This is the brand's summer release. For the Planet Nyarr collection, we have a whole variety of finishes. We have magnetics, we have glow-in-the-dark polishes, and we have a shimmer. There are 9 polishes total, and these are all available right now on the Mooncat website, and this release is not considered limited edition, which I personally feel is fantastic news as Mooncat has recently discontinued quite a few polishes. I did receive the Planet Nyarr collection in gifted PR from the brand. However, this video is not sponsored. Thank you so much, Mooncat, for sending these over to me. As always, in the description box, I will have links to where you can pick these polishes up, the brand's website, social media pages, my social media pages, and of course, timestamps as well. I will also have some comparisons, so let's just get right into the video. The first polish in this collection is called Blueberries Jam, and Mooncat describes this one as a magnetic pink magnetic lacquer that reveals a blue base jam-packed with flakies and reflective glitter when magnetized. Blueberries Jam had a fantastic formula, but this one was definitely on the thicker side. Even though this one was indeed on the thicker side, it applied very evenly and very easily, and it also dried down pretty quickly, I found. I did notice that the blue flakies in this polish have a tendency to kind of poke off the sides of your nails. I had one after I think either the first or second coat on the live swatch by my cuticle area that just kind of was just sticking, just poking up a little bit. But nothing that's terribly atypical for a flaky. I found those blue flakies lay down relatively flat, and for the pokey up ones, it's super easy to use just like a cleanup brush or another nail, just kind of tap the flaky back into place. It's not really a formulation issue. Also, if y'all hear snoring, I've got Rue on my lap and she just decided to take a nap. So like she's snoring, I'm sorry. This had really good coverage in 2 coats. I opted to add a 3rd coat just to magnetize the polish. My finger wiggles unmagnetized are going to be in 2 coats, and then my finger wiggles for both of my magnetic shots are going to be in 3 coats. This is going to be one of those polishes that's pretty hard to see what the base color on here actually is. There is a lot of blue flakies in here, and on top of the magnetic pigment, I think the base, if it's not gray, it's like a blackened color. The magnetic pigment here magnetizes super duper easily. It's honestly a really beautiful magnetic pigment. When Mooncat started dropping the teaser swatches, this was one of the polishes that was really catching my eye. I really like the difference in the color of the magnetic pigment to the blue flakies. While Mooncat does describe the magnetic pigment in here as being magenta to pink, I agree with that, but I also was seeing an orangey yellowy color, maybe like a hint of gold. It definitely had a stronger color shift than just a magenta to a pink. I did not realize that this polish had reflective glitter in it until I had already taken it off. When I brought this one outside in natural lighting, I don't recall my eyeballs picking up any reflective glitter. I'm gonna have to go back and look at my daylight shots again to see if I can see any twinkles of reflective glitter, but this one does dry down with some significant texture. You're gonna want at least 2 layers of top coat to smooth everything out. So I definitely do believe that there's glitter in here, because between the magnetic pigment and the flakies, there's no reason for this one to dry down nearly as textured as it did. But I would say that since I don't recall seeing reflective glitter, and I don't recall seeing reflective glitter in any of the promotional shots, it's not like jam-packed with reflective glitter. I wish it has had like a smidge more, so I wasn't heavily questioning what I was seeing, because in the bottle, I could in fact see that there was some type of glitteriness in there. Like I was just like, huh, is that reflective glitter? But as I was looking at it in the bottle, I was like, no, I think that's just the magnetic pigment. I thought the magnetic pigment was just really, really sparkly. So it's, I don't know, I feel like we could have had just like a smidge more reflective glitter. For example, I feel that if I were to wear this one for personal wear, I probably would add a reflective glitter topper on top of it, just to add more sparkle to it. So my swatches show Blueberries Jam in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. Removal is going to be on the more difficult side. If you would remove this wrong, use the soak off method or peel off base coat. I used a peel off base coat. It was easy. If you watch any of the animated promotional videos for this release that Mooncat posted, Blueberries Jam is dookie.
This is doo-doo, baby. I said, ah!
And I absolutely love that Mooncat has a polish that is dookie. And I love that for us right now. The next polish up is called Electromagnetic Furball, and Mooncat is describing this one as a magenta pink multi-chrome magnetic lacquer that reveals a base jam-packed with bronze flakies and multicolored reflective glitter when magnetized. The Electromagnetic Furball also had a really fantastic formula, but this was also on the thicker side. I still found it very easy to apply. I didn't have any issues with the application or with dry time. Similarly to the previous magnetic, I don't know what the base color is on this polish. I once again think if it's not like a dark gray, it's a blackened color. It's very, very dark. I found that the bronze flakes, they really add a lot of brightness overall to the polish as well as the magnetic pigment. Unmagnetized, this has a very kind of pinky orangey kind of vibe on the nail. I am fairly confident that the magnetic pigment in this polish is the same that we saw in the last one. So it has a very strong magenta to pink with a little bit of like an orangey golden yellowiness at very extreme angles. And similarly to the last polish, if you want to really see those flakies very well, I would highly recommend magnetizing the polish. My swatch are going to show this one in 2 coats unmagnetized, and then I added a 3rd coat to magnetize the polish. I did notice for this shade that it does seem to shear out quite a bit when you magnetize it on the 2nd coat. So if you want to get this one to be fully opaque, I would recommend magnetizing only on your 3rd coat. In case you were unaware for the method of my madness, I personally like my magnetics. I like the base to be like perfectly opaque and very even. I just find for me, I don't like how uneven base colors often look. If you magnetize every single layer, it also makes it significantly less opaque. So if you're going to go for opacity, magnetize on your final coat and only your final coat to give you the best shot of it being fully opaque. And yes, this is another call out to Linry.
Hi.
Similarly to Blueberry's Jam, I did not easily see the reflective glitter in this polish. Once again, I was seeing something in the bottle. It was just like very twinkly. I even went so far as to flash my phone on the bottle. I was just like, I feel like there's reflective glitter here, but it's not the most apparent on the nail. In my notes, I had initially said that the reflective glitter in here looked more like really sparkly holographic glitter to my eye. I would also have bought if the brand had said that it was a mixture of holographic and reflective glitter. Although looking again at the official description, it does say that there's multicolored reflective glitter in here. So I was seeing multiple colors, but I just thought it was really sparkly holographic and not individual reflective glitters. Because this is reflective glitter, it is going to dry down very, very textured. You're going to want at least 2 layers of top coat to smooth everything out, and you're also going to want to remove the polish properly. Use the soak off method or a peel off base coat. Don't scrub this off. The next polish up is the first of 3 glow in the dark polishes. This is particularly exciting because I'm fairly confident that this is the first time the brand has released an orange glow in the dark polish. I'm very, very excited. I have felt this way for quite a while now. Mooncat makes some of the best glow in the dark nail polishes in the nail game. Holo Taco has the best glow in the dark toppers. Mooncat has the best glow in the dark polishes. For Light of Your Ninth Life, Mooncat describes this one as an orange glow in the dark lacquer filled with a green shimmer that glows orange in the dark. Light of Your Ninth Life also had a fantastic but definitely thicker formula.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
This is a very thick nail polish. This is going to thicken up quite a lot with time. I still found it applied very evenly and easily for me, but again, it is definitely... I struggled a little bit with my color accuracy while doing the live swatch, so I kind of, for the first coat, it was a little bit blown out, so I darkened it a little bit for the 2nd and 3rd coats. For this glow in the dark polish, the brand does recommend building this one up in 3 coats to get the most glow in the dark action happening. I found this one was opaque on me in 2 coats, so if you don't really care about the glow in the dark aspect, I would just say stop at 2 coats. If you want it to really, really glow, I would recommend going in for 3. This is a super bright neon orange base. I went back and forth on what kind of neon orange that I thought it was specifically. In my personal opinion, I think it's a very almost salmony neon orange. I find that the green shimmer in the polish, it really kind of cools the whole thing down, so it doesn't quite look as orange salmony on the nail, but like when you're pulling your brush out of the bottle, you can really clearly see that the base is very coral leaning. Coral is like a corally salmony kind of orange. Coral. Maybe coral's better than salmon now that I thought of that. Yeah, I feel like coral would be more orangey and salmony would be more pinky. So ignore all of that. It's more coral than salmon, sorry. I feel that this would be a fantastic pedicure color. This is the kind of color that I absolutely love on my toes. As is typical for Mooncat's glow in the darks, I found that this one charged up really, really nicely. In truth, I really do wish that I had this one for a little bit longer so I can really test out to see how long it glowed for. I charged this one up with my blacklight flashlight and I found it charged up really, really nicely. When I brought this one outside in natural lighting and came back inside, I noticed that my nails are once again glowing really, really well. I feel that this is gonna glow really, really nicely. I don't think you're gonna need any kind of special lighting to get this one to charge up. As I said, I was able to get this shade opaque on me in 2 coats, but my full hand swatches do show it in 3. This does dry down with a very slight, I'll describe it as almost kind of rubbery in essence. Glow in the dark pigment tends to be very kind of rubbery on the nail, so you will definitely want some top coat with this one just so you don't have that kind of weird texture on top. Removal is going to be all fairly easy, but on the more messy side between the shimmer in here as well as the glow in the dark pigment, but it's not going to be overly difficult for removal. Also, I didn't experience any staining at any point in this video for these polishes. I just realized I haven't been saying that this whole time. I didn't get any staining, but I currently have an overlay on my thumb again because my nail broke, so I wouldn't notice much staining. The next polish up is called Litterbox. Mooncat is describing this one as a baby pink glitter lacquer jam-packed with holographic glitter and as well as reflective glitter. Litterbox had a fantastic formula. I honestly was really surprised at how thin this polish was. It wasn't thin in the sense that it was watery. I just had expected, based on the thickness levels of the past 3 shades, that this was going to be significantly thicker, but it was not. It applied really nicely. On that first coat, it is pretty dang sheer. I'm fairly confident that this is a clear base, or like if it's tinted at all, it's super, super lightly tinted. All of the color and opacity you get are going to come from the glitters. So I think this one could also work as a topper because it's, again, it's very sheer on that first coat. I was really surprised by 2 things about this polish. One being I was able to get it opaque on me in only 2 coats. I did not expect that from a glitter bomb. And 2, my second surprise was the reflective glitter. I did not realize there was reflective glitter in here until I started removing the nail polish. I was like, wait a second. Did I just see reflective glitter? From my eye, I do believe that all of the glitter in here is the exact same size. I personally am super, super excited to see Mooncat coming out with another glitter bomb. I feel like it's been quite a long time since Mooncat has done a glitter bomb. So the holographic glitter in here is super, super sparkly, and it's also fairly small. Even though the holographic glitter in here is fairly small, you do still get a significant amount of texture on the nail. So you're gonna want 1 to 2 layers of top coat depending on how you feel about like texturedness levels. Even though I swatched this one out in 2 coats, I could foresee a world in which someone would want to add a 3rd coat to this one. I'll call it a 2 to 3 coater, but I was really, really happy with coverage in only 2 coats, which again, super surprised by how good it looked in 2. Because this is a glitter nail polish, you're going to want to use the soak off method or peel off base coat for the easiest removal experience. Do not scrub this off. It's going to be hell. The next polish up is another glow in the dark, and this one is called Kattermanjaro. And Mooncat is describing this one as a neon hot pink glow in the dark lacquer filled with a subtle pink shimmer that glows peach in the dark. Mooncat also does recommend building this one up in 3 coats to get the most glow in the dark action happening on the nail. Kattermanjaro also had a really fantastic but definitely thicker formula. Similarly to the previous glow in the dark shade, I did find that I was able to reach full opacity with this shade in only 2 coats, but my swatches will be showing it in 3. I absolutely love this pink. Like, y'all know how I feel about neon pinks. I love me a good neon pink. I will say my only real complaint about this one is I wish that it had a contrasting shimmer. I feel like the last glow in the dark shade, that green shimmer contrasted so nicely from that orange base. And I know I always make fun of how many polishes there are that have a pink base and blue shimmer, but you can't tell me that this wouldn't have been amazing with a blue shimmer. You can't tell me it wouldn't have, because you know damn well it would have. So I do like the pink shimmer. It looks pretty. It gives the polish a nice kind of glow from within, a little sparkly action, but I feel like it could have been better with a blue shimmer. And like, listen, I'm never happy, okay? I complain about pinks with blue shimmer, and then I'm just like, where's the pink with the blue shimmer? I know, I'm insufferable, and I'm sorry. I did find that this one glowed in the dark very easily. I found it just as easy to charge up on my nail, and it seemed to glow really nicely as well. Kattermanjaro dries down very slightly textured from that glow in the dark pigment. 1 layer of top coat will smooth it out perfectly. It's not going to be overly difficult to remove, but it will be fairly messy if you remove the polish wrong. Soak off method, peel off base coat. Duh. And now we have Nyarrian Nights, which is making me think of Aladdin so badly. Mooncat is describing this one as a multi-chrome magnetic lacquer that shifts between a pink and a red orange that reveals a purple base filled with blue shimmer when magnetized. Nyarrian Nights had a fantastic formula. This one applied super easily, very evenly, and you already see her here. She's making noises. I agree 100% with Mooncat's color description for the shade. It's exactly as they describe it to be. I feel that the added shimmer in here on top of the magnetic pigment and the base color really gives a lot of dimension to this polish. So this was the polish in the release that when Mooncat was showing their teasers for the collection, I cackled at this one. If you are an OG and you were around when I used to do PPU live streams on Sundays, I feel that in the indie nail polish space, we have seen this polish like 20,000 times. I used to make fun of this polish because I feel like there was a time period where every single indie brand was making exactly this. And so the only reason why I don't own anything that looks like this is because I got tired of seeing it. So it's been a little minute since this time period. So now I'm feeling, I get the hype. I see why 20,000 indie brands made this exact same polish 20,000 times because it's really, really pretty. Also, quickly, I'm just gonna throw this in here right now. I just wanna say, I find it highly questionable, weird, kind of dumb as well. The number of people that I saw trying to claim that Mooncat was copying indie brands by making this polish. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I love and appreciate you for tuning into this video, but if you genuinely think that Mooncat is out here just like, what are those indie brands doing for me to copy?
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
I don't know if people realize this, but there's a limited amount of pigments that are available across the board for use in nail polish. So the number of times brands are going to dupe each other, very, very high. If something is really popular, people are gonna love that and they're gonna wanna put their own spin on it, but it's not outright copying, okay? Like, are you guys okay? Like, what? That brand that made a Mooncat House of Hades polish and they purposely went out of their way to dupe Mooncat, that was copying. They weren't even trying to put their own spin on it. They wanted to take money from Mooncat and bring attention to their indie brand, and that's what that was copying. That, and honestly, I love me a good dupe as much as the next person, but like, that was icky. That gave me the ick. Sorry for that rant. Nyarrian Nights thicker formula, applied beautifully, magnetized wonderfully as well. For my unmagnetized finger wiggles, that is gonna be in 2 coats. I did a test magnetization on the second coat and found this one sheared out a little bit too much for my personal liking. So if you're gonna magnetize the one, I'd recommend magnetizing on the 3rd layer to get the most opacity going. I found magnetizing the second coat, it really pulled a lot of the opacity that I didn't love how it looked, but it is fully opaque in 2 coats if you don't magnetize the polish. My magnetization shots show it in 3 coats. Even though I kind of sheared out the polish on the second coat, I still was able to reach full opacity in 3 coats magnetized. And like I've been saying, like, I definitely see why there are so many brands that have similar polishes to this because it is beautiful. This does dry down a little bit dull, so you will for sure want some glossy top coat to bring life back to the polish. Super easy removal for this one, but it does dry down dull. The next polish up is called Swim with the Dolphins, and Mooncat is describing this one as a cyan shimmer lacquer. Swim with the Dolphins had a really nice formula. I absolutely love the color of this polish. I once again do agree with the brand. This is a very bright cyan-y polish. I think the base on it is actually purple, but because the shimmer in here is just so bright and glowy, it really kind of almost hides the base color. It's gonna be one of those polishes that at the very edge of your nails, it'll be a little bit darker because that's where you're gonna be seeing the purple base, but the overall color you see on your nail is definitely cyan. I'm gonna call this one a 2 to 3 coater depending on application style and mostly personal preference, truthfully. I had really nice and even coverage in 2 coats, but I didn't feel it was exactly the same color that I was seeing in the bottle, so I added a 3rd. The 3rd coat deepened the base color as well as making the shimmer a lot stronger, and honestly, I think it looks really, really pretty. In my opinion, it's worth the extra coat, but I could see someone stopping into. This polish gives me a lot of House of Hades vibes. Like, I don't think it's the same formula. I could have sworn House of Hades had like microflakes or something in it, but I feel like the vibes of this one is definitely reminding me of House of Hades. Yes, I'll have comparisons coming up later on the video because I want to see what they look like compared to each other. This one is going to be a fairly easy removal, very messy if you scrub off your polish. It does also dry down a little bit dull, so you will for sure want top coat for a nice glossy finish, as well as, you know, to wear the polish. Easy removal overall. And now we have Whiskered Willows, which is the 2nd glitter bomb in the collection. And Mooncat is describing this one as a lavender glitter lacquer jam-packed with multicolored reflective as well as holographic glitter. So similarly to the other glitter bomb in this release, this is going to be another one of those polishes where I feel that all of the color and opacity that you're getting on your nail is coming from the glitter. So you're going to want to build this one up to get the most color going on. Whiskered Willows had a really nice formula. Similarly to the last glitter shade, it didn't have nearly as much thickness that I had expected it to, but it still applied really nicely and evenly. I will say, however, unlike the previous glitter shade, I did end up swatching this one out in 3 3 coats. I found I had like a little bit too much visible nail line for me to be like perfectly okay with 2. I think if you have super short nails or you're not really picky on your glitter, you could be good in 2, but I think it looks better in 3. So I am very surprised that the brand is describing the reflective glitter in here as multicolored. I could see that there was indeed reflective glitter in the polish. To my eye, I was seeing the lavender holographic glitter, and then I was seeing silver reflective glitter. I was not seeing a variety of colors in the reflective glitter, but I will once again acknowledge that it's completely possible that the reflective glitter sparkles being multicolored was getting kind of lost in the multicolored of the holographic glitter. But this is super duper sparkly and super beautiful. It's a very cool tone lavender. I myself, not really a big lavender fan, but I love me some glitter, and this was really, really pretty. Because this is glitter we are talking about, it will of course dry down fairly textured. We're gonna want multiple layers of top coat to smooth everything out. I did one thick layer of Seche Vite on my nails for this one, and I was okay, but by the time I brought this one back inside, my nail was definitely fairly textured again. So you're gonna want multiple layers of top coat for this one. And I would also recommend using the soak off method or a peel off base coat for removal. Do not scrub this off. And the final polish in the collection is called the Zoomies. This is another glow in the dark shade. Mooncat is describing this one as a sheer light green glow in the dark lacquer that glows green in the dark. It's also what's currently on my thumbnail in case anybody was wondering what that was. The Zoomies also had a fantastic formula that was for sure on the thicker side. Also, just as a note for all the glow in the dark polishes in this collection, when you use these, make sure to kind of clean the neck of your bottle before you put them away. I noticed for all of the glow in the dark polishes in this collection that my necks, despite, you know, just doing one nail, I noticed that for all the glow in the dark shades, they got gunked up around the neck super, super easily. I think it's because of how thick these are. So when you're putting these away, make sure to clean off the neck of your bottle just to kind of get the nice tight seal when you put them away so they're not going to be like, you know, a brick next time you reach for them. So I will say, I find it very interesting that Mooncat is both calling this one a sheer polish as well as a light green polish. On my nail, I feel that this looks like it has almost kind of a ghostly gray base with a strong green shimmer. I feel like for all intents and purposes that yes, it looks like green on the nail, but to my eye, it looks like it's the base color is like a ghostly gray, and then you have a really, really strong glowy green shimmer. Just like I was expecting, this one glows in the dark so freaking nicely, and it charged up very, very easily. Similarly to the other glow in the dark shades in this release, I charged it easily both with my blacklight flashlight as well as with natural sunlight. This one was glowing. I did opt to swatch this one out in 3 coats because the brand recommended it in 3, but it was opaque on me in only 2 coats. I wouldn't personally describe this polish as sheer. If I hold my thumb up like this, sure, I can see through the tip of my nail because, you know, the light is there, but holding my nail just like looking downwards as I normally would, I feel like I have to really search to see my nail line. Like it's just not, it's not apparent enough to me to call this polish a sheer. Because it's a glow in the dark, it will dry down fairly textured as well as dull. You will for sure want some top coat with it, but super easy removal, just on the more messy side if you remove your polish off wrong. Okie dokie, let's get into some comparisons. Also, just to let you all know now, I was stumped so badly on what to compare these to. I tried my best, okay? Thanks! To compare to Kattermanjaro, I pulled out Sakura Serenade and Momo Yuyake. Probably said those wrong. I was really at a loss on what in the heck I wanted to compare Kattermanjaro to. I was just drawing a blank on a neon pink that had the same kind of shimmer effect added to it. Out of these Mooncats, it's obviously the brightest of the bunch. It's also the only one that glows in the dark. I think Sakura Serenade might even be a thermal. I might be wrong. Truthfully, I am currently rushing to finish this video up. It's been a really rough week. And then to compare to Light of Your Ninth Life, I pulled out Poems for a Harvest Moon and Molten Lava. I had thought that Light of Your Ninth Life was gonna be really, really similar to Poems for a Harvest Moon. The shimmer effect added to Light of Your Ninth Life is a green tone shimmer, and this one is more of like a pinky colored one. And then for the shimmer in Molten Lava, this is a lot sparkly. Like if you had told me that there was like a micro flake in here, I would believe you. It's a bit sparklier. And this is without top coat, and this one dries on super textured and gritty. I think there might be glitter in here maybe. To compare to the Zoomies, I pulled out Manchineel Tree, Banquet of Breadcrumbs, Hollow Taco's Alien Infatuation, and Hollow Taco's Moon Lagoon. I could have sworn Hollow Taco had a polish that looked really, really similar to the Mooncat shade, but I could not find it in any of my Hollow Taco drawers, and I didn't see it on their website either. The most similar thing to this that I saw in Holo Taco's lineup was Moon Lagoon over here, but this is more of a kind of blue base, where this is a little bit like a light mintier color. I pulled out Alien Infatuation because I was remembering this as being significantly lighter in color. I did not remember it being this dark. I thought that this was going to be similar in the gray base with green shimmer like I thought the Mooncat shade was, but they are not similar at all. The Holo Taco was way too dark. Over here to compare to Swim My Dolphins, I pulled out Mooncat's Mercury's Tears, House of Hades, and then over here we have Misery is my favorite color. I thought Swim My Dolphins was going to be so much similar formula-wise to House of Hades. They're not similar formula-wise. I think the similarities between these two shades comes down to the fact that both of them have very purple toned bases, and it's the added shimmer that makes them see so blue toned on the nail. But for House of Hades, I don't think these are the same formulas at all. The micro flake / large particle shimmer that House of Hades has is not the same component as what is in Swim My Dolphins. To compare to Whiskered Willows, I pulled out Holo Taco's Lo-Fi Lavender. I thought these were going to be really similar. I will say, while I wouldn't call these two polishes dupes, I could see a world in which someone feels that the tones of lavender between the two shades is way too similar. I would say the Holo Taco is a little bit darker in color than the Mooncat shade, but the Mooncat shade has reflective glitter in it that the Holo Taco does not. Holo Taco also is made up of multiple types of holographic glitter, where Mooncat seems to be just the holographic glitter plus the reflective glitter. Myself, as a glitter bomb lover, I would not personally say that these two shades are too similar to justify owning them both, but I feel like for a lot of people they probably will be. I had also wanted to compare Litterbox to Holo Taco's Control Cutie. I also had wanted to compare the shade to Holo Taco's Menchie the Cat, but I cannot find my bottle of Menchie the Cat. It's not in any of my Holo Taco drawers. I don't know where I left it, so I couldn't compare them. I'll put a thing on screen to show, because I think that they would be kind of similar like the last comparison, where while they're not outright dupes, Holo Taco tends to put multiple sizes of holographic glitter in their glitter bombs, and again, the Mooncat is just one size of the micro glitter plus the reflective glitter. But I feel like color-wise, all three shades are going to be in the similar colorway that most people probably would say, I have one, I don't need them all. But again, I love me a glitter bomb, and I am saying I think it's completely justifiable. Especially like the color difference between these two shades here, I would say that the Mooncat shade is a little bit cooler in tone and the Holo Taco looks a lot warmer side by side. They're not the same base color either, even though the glitter mixes are different. To compare Blueberries Jam, Nyarrian Nights, and Electromagnetic Furball, I could not think of what in the hell to compare these to, so I've got no comparisons for these because I am just genuinely drawing a blank. I am really struggling to finish editing this video before I have some family stuff to do. So yeah, if anyone has ideas for comparisons, feel free to drop them. But just be aware, I already checked my swatch stick wall and I didn't have anything that's like a spot on dupe for either, well, I say all three of these polishes. All right, so final thoughts time. I absolutely love everything about this collection. I feel like this is a super fun release. I love that we have a variety of finishes. I love that we have new glow-in-the-dark colors from Mooncat that aren't limited edition. That's the most important part, that aren't limited edition. I love the new magnetics that we got from the brand. I just feel like I love this overall so very much, and I love that it's a bright, fun summer collection. I feel like my only real complaint is I feel like dropping a summer collection towards the end of August is definitely a choice. I feel like every other brand is releasing their fall collections right now, and Mooncat's like, summer's here, bitches. Which honestly is a vibe in itself. I feel for me personally, while I am definitely enjoying all things Halloween right now, I feel like I'm also holding on to summer just like a little bit longer as well. I really love bright colors in general though. Plus also it is indeed technically still summer, but I feel like this is kind of note since I also felt that their spring collection also was a little bit late in the season. But I'm not mad at a non-limited edition release from Mooncat at the end of the day, so I don't really have any real complaints. I also really love that this whole thing is just like an ode to Blueberry / cats. I have a lot of cats. I love cats and I really think Blueberry is adorable, so I like that we have a whole collection dedicated to Blueberry. As far as my own personal top picks from this release, I think I'm gonna go with Blueberries Jam, Nyarrian Nights, and then as well as Litterbox. I feel like those were the shades that I found most fun in this release, so those are my top picks. As far as pricing and sale information goes, the Planet Nyarr collection is available right now on the Mooncat website. If you want to pick up all 9 polishes, that is going to run you $132. You can of course buy the polishes individually. All of the polishes in this collection are going to range in price down from $16 all the way up to $18. Mooncat is a very luxurious boutique brand, so they are indeed on the more expensive side. I would love to know what everyone else thought of this release. Are you planning on picking it up? Have you already picked it up? Are you saving this purchase for Black Friday? Balling on a budget? Let me know all your thoughts and feelings. Before we end today's video, I want to give a very special shout out to my channel members. Shenanigans, Story Fans, your names of course all on the screen right now. If you would like to sign up for my channel memberships, there is a link for that in the description box, or you can click join next to the subscribe button. But as always, that is completely optional. Just like the video, comment the video, subscribe, hype, all the things, and seriously, we are good. And also don't forget, I also have a Discord server, which is linked in the description box if you want to join. So just thank you all for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely week, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
When I get high, I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah.